Hello and welcome to Blog Tornado. How are you? And today we're going to talk about alien language and how aliens actually think. In many cases, it doesn't mean that what we're actually seeing is what is really going on. And that's especially true with aliens, mostly because they don't want to reveal any information because that information, it could be actually used against them. So just because there are alien abductions that are going on, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what is really going on, okay? It looks like they're doing experiments and trying to collect samples or whatnot, but it might not be the case, okay? They're just using that as a deception and they want you to think like that. So we have to be cautious and we have to think outside the box. So please stay with me throughout this video to understand more about what alien language could be and how they think. And don't forget to subscribe here at the bottom right and give it a thumbs up. That will be much appreciated. So let's start talking about what these aliens could be and what we're actually seeing. So a lot of people think they're aliens from some planet, such as perhaps Zeta Reticuli, which is 39 light years away from here. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're actual original occupants of that planet, okay? They could simply be bioengineered because of such long distance, such as 39 light years. They could actually be grown or materialized or engineered inside the actual UFO because the distance is way too far to get from that place to here, and whoever would be inside that UFO wouldn't survive. So basically, those original creators could actually send bioengineered life forms such as artificial intelligence, and maybe we're looking at bioengineered artificial intelligence when we actually think those are the original extraterrestrial coming from Zeta Reticuli, but that might not be the case. There are some documentaries about alien abductions, and this person clearly talks about how these aliens are moving like robotic-like. So that could explain that perhaps, yes, those aliens could not be the original occupants of that planet, but nothing more but artificial intelligence, okay? So that's another theory that we can look at. Now, also Betty Hill talks about these strange humans, and if you're familiar with Betty Hill and Barney Hill's story about alien abduction that happened in New Hampshire in US, one of the most widely publicized UFO stories in 1961, and basically she talks about these aliens who abducted her and the way they looked, okay? So again, they didn't seem to have any protruding ears coming out of their head. They had big eyes, no eyebrows, and pale skin. So, which is very interesting to say the least, because, you know, if you ever hear stories about Men in Black, okay, you'll see that on some footage that's been caught inside a hotel in the lobby, there's two persons that walk in with black suits, black hats, and they actually don't move like humans, and whoever was in the lobby at that time was saying that their facial features look weird, and you know, they wear glasses and they seem like pale and they look really strange. So now again, these beings, are they actually extraterrestrials, or they're actually bioengineered by some sort of extraterrestrial race that send them here to collect some information? And that is the question. So we might actually think we're looking at actual extraterrestrials, but that's not the case. Again, explain that, you know, the distance from Zeta Reticuli is almost 39 light years away. So you have to understand that that's a long travel to get here, and in order to survive such a long distance, you're gonna have to think of something else. And that's why the way aliens are thinking, they're thinking out of the box. I mean, we have to kind of look at that kind of in a way that we can level with them. Again, the same thing could happen with orbs. Now, I talk a lot about orbs and what they could be behind the Illuminati symbol and how they're tied into Illuminati. But orbs, sometimes when we're looking at the orbs, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually there for us to watch. It could actually be some sort of deception, okay? And they could have been looking at us from another angle while we're looking and staring at the orbs. Now, you probably play with the laser pointer before and flash it in the window if you ever had the chance and you have pets, and you'll see how are they following this red light, laser light on the wall. So that's sort of what it could be going on when this is happening with orbs. and they could be reading our mind while we're looking at them, because obviously some orange light, which is very common with orbs, could be emitting from them, and it's actually hitting our eye pupil. But at the same time, they could be actually searching information inside our mind. And there just could be some of the theories that yes, aliens do think outside the box, and that they don't want to reveal the actual truth behind what is going on. Again, I do talk about orbs a lot and trying to understand what this orb phenomena is all about. And we have to be aware of this kind of things, because it's very unusual. It seems like they've been with us for many thousands of years. It started all in a cave, paintings, and we see a lot of these strange objects in the sky being painted on the stone, and until now. So exactly what does this mean? What are those orbs all about? Again, I talk about how these orbs tie into Illuminati symbol and what they represent. Now, as I explained before, basically, as you know, Illuminati means illuminating light. Obviously, orbs are also illuminating light. Not just that, but they hover in the air. And also orbs hover in the air. Now, not just that, but there's a seeing eye, and behind the seeing eye, there has to be some sort of intelligence behind it. Now, what is this intelligence that's going on? Well, if they're orbs, then I strongly assume they're basically some kind of lights in the sky. They're actually watching us throughout history, and we don't know how deep they go inside American government, because their symbol is basically found on $1 American bill. So that is a very strange phenomena. But not just that, it's all around the world, these Illuminati symbols. And what do they mean? Where I seen orbs, I'm also a witness of orb phenomena. You can read more about it at blogtornado.com in UFO section. There's a UFO and orb phenomena article that I wrote, so you can compare your story if you've seen such phenomena yourself. But what really happens there is not too far from there, maybe 5 kilometers or so, there is a shrine with Jesus and a cross and candles, and basically there is a Illuminati symbol that is on top of that shrine. And that is very interesting to me, because like I said, those are kind of strange symbols that they just don't add up, and they're just very unusual to fit into our society. And also the orbs in the sky that I've seen 5 kilometers away from there, and also that doesn't fit into our society either, into a normal way of things. So it almost makes our reality look like some kind of a sci-fi surrealistic atmosphere that we are not used to. Okay, so what exactly is going on with this orb phenomena, and how deep does it go? So again, David Icke talks about this strange phenomena. He basically talks about reptilians running our government and so forth. And it's a question of what is really going on behind our government, of U.S. government. Is there some higher power at stake here that we are not aware of? So the reasonable explanation for this, it could actually be the orbs that we see in the sky. And there's a clear evidence that they're very intelligent. They seem to be flying in straight patterns, like symmetrical patterns. And if you know, Mason symbols is also talks about some sacred geometry, and that geometry is present with orbs during the crop circles, of making the crop circles. And there's actual footage that talks about, that actually shows, that's been recorded with VHS tape recorder, and actually shows orbs flying around of crop circles and actually making crop circles at the same time while they're flying around. And I strongly believe that is authentic video, because it was analyzed later on by ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, and they also concluded that perhaps that actual footage is authentic, so they don't see anything that's fake about it. And again, if the person would want to fake it, they're probably not going to put something like orbs of light in it, but most likely some kind of flying saucers, such as silver, shaped disc and so forth, but they didn't. What you actually see is orbs, flying orbs, so that's something to consider about and think about. So what is this great mystery behind this Illuminati symbol and also the pyramids? Because clearly you can see it's a pyramid that's inside the Illuminati symbol. So there are many questions regarding what aliens are all about, but it also could have been some sort of disguise that perhaps aliens are just nothing more but puppets so we don't get scared of what's really behind the aliens. It could be some much greater power that could really scare us away, because it comes straight from science fiction movies. So maybe they're using aliens as a deception to make it look like it's actually aliens, but in fact they just could be puppets. There could actually be a greater power here at work, and that we don't even understand, that comes straight from some kind of sci-fi movies and could simply scare us away. But what that really means is perhaps they're using those aliens as an image for us, so we don't get afraid of what really lies behind the aliens. So it's just a deception. It's nothing more but some kind of puppets, and we think that those are actual extraterrestrial. But in fact, there could be some greater force here that doesn't look like anything like aliens, and potentially could scare us away. And they don't want to do that. So again, aliens are quite familiar how we operate, so we have to understand how they communicate as well. And pretty much everything they do should be taken in consideration, whether it's displaying colors and what kind of colors are displaying, what are they showing in the videos, if they're showing how fast they can be, what does that mean? Everything they do is pretty much well thought of in ahead, and they don't do anything for that without a reason, because we're gonna analyze it. So we see a lot of this footage on YouTube, and we try to analyze it and so forth, but what we don't realize, there is actually people inside the government that they study this very in details, even though the footage might not be theirs, might be just some bystander footage. But the fact is, they take such things very seriously, and they study every single thing aliens do, because they are trying to basically communicate with us. And the fact is, these orbs, and from what I've seen, there's definitely something going on. They're trying to communicate with us, but do we have anything set up for them so we can communicate back to them? We're just simply staring at those orange orbs, and we're not really communicating back with them, okay? First of all, they're displaying color orange. They don't display blue, red, yellow, green, or so forth, okay? So orange, basically, to my opinion, it means something like a friendly color, which means basically peace. And also, they show themselves in a 3. Usually, you'll see 3 orbs. Now, what does that mean? Basically, I strongly believe that 3 is a universal number, for many reasons, because I think the engine of universe actually works on those 3 principles, okay? And I will talk more about this in another video and discuss with you and explain to you what 3 actually means. And basically, as you know, there's 3 pyramids as well, and this number 3 again is present, and in many times, like I said, in orbs, number 3 of them is what is really present here. So we have to understand the language they're trying to say to us. So we don't have much to work with, but whatever they're telling us, that's a slow, patient procedure of communicating with us, okay? So we have to be ready for those kind of things, because meeting aliens could mean a lot of things to us, and meeting such alien race could really help us to change the world really fast. And for one reason, they know probably how to harness free energy, which we're still trying to understand, and they probably know all about this, and they can actually explain to us, and therefore, our lives will be a lot better, rather than paying all these electricity bills and so forth. Why not have free energy, 0 point energy, to use in order to make this world a lot better place? But like I said, aliens do have such technology, and they could really help us to get ahead in evolution. And again, the question really is it the wise thing to do from them to be showing us all this? Because it might be something very unnatural to kind of skip time and just move directly into this super advanced technology. Does evolution need to take place in order for life to develop normally? So that is the real question here. Is alien interference actually a good thing or a bad thing? So that's something to consider. So anyways, that's pretty much what I would like to talk about today. So if you stayed all the way up until now, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Much appreciated. And I post videos every second day, every third day, and so forth. I mostly talk about UFO phenomena and anything that crosses my mind that I can connect the dots with. I will talk about, and maybe you want to stick around and come back again to see what's going on. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace. Cheers.